Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. It's really an extraordinary place. More than just a park, wouldn't you say? It feels like a living lab almost. And deeply sacred, too.
Absolutely. It's where raw elemental forces meet this incredibly rich human history, and its global importance is huge. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and an International Biosphere Reserve.
Wow. So those aren't just labels, right?
Not at all. They signify a real responsibility, managing this constantly changing landscape, its unique culture. It's about finding a balance.
The dynamic harmony, yeah.
Yeah.
So our mission today, really, is to give you a deep understanding of this place. We'll look at how the park protects and studies Kilauea and Mauna Loa, two of the world's most active volcanoes, and also how it works to sustain the unique Hawaiian ecosystems and the traditional culture that's so tied to the land here.
Exactly. We're unpacking the geology, the culture, the conservation effort.
So what surprises might be waiting for you in this landscape that's always, well, evolving? Let's start with the ground itself. The geology. Hawaii's formation is, well, it's pretty unusual geologically speaking.
It really is. Most volcanoes form at the edges of tectonic plates, right?
Right.
But Hawaii is smack in the middle of the Pacific plate. It sits over this stationary hotspot deep in the Earth's mantle, and that plate is moving, drifting northwest at about 4 inches a year.
So the islands are basically moving off the production line one by one.
That's the essence of the hotspot theory, yes. This localized, intense heat source punches through the crust as the plate moves over it, creates a volcano, then the plate moves on, and a new volcano starts forming.
Which explains the chain of islands getting older as you move away from the hotspot.
Precisely. And you can see it happening right now with Luchi. It's a new seamount forming underwater southeast of Kilauea, proof the process is ongoing.
But is that theory universally accepted? I seem to remember some debate.
That's a great point. Science is always evolving, right? While the mantle plume theory, the idea that the heat rises from deep, maybe the core mantle boundary is the dominant one. Some scientists proposed alternatives, like maybe the crust here is just unusually weak, allowing melt to rise more passively from shallower depths.
Interesting. So a weaker crust, not necessarily a super hot plume.
Kind of, but recent seismic imaging, the kind that lets us see deep underground, has actually provided data that strongly supports the mantle plume idea. So it's still the leading explanation. But the discussion itself shows how dynamic Earth science is. Always testing, always refining.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's zoom in on the park's two active giants, Mauna Loa and Kilauea.
Mauna Loa first. It's just massive. The largest active volcano on the planet. Makes up about 51% of the Big Island.
51%? Wow.
Yeah. And get this, measured from its base on the ocean floor, it's over 30,000 feet tall.
That's taller than Everest, if you count from the bottom.
Exactly. Its sheer weight actually depresses the ocean floor beneath it. It's a classic shield volcano built by layers of fluid, low-viscosity lava flows that gives it that broad, gentle slope like a warrior's shield.
It woke up recently, didn't it?
It did, erupted in late 2022 after almost 40 years of quiet. A good reminder it's still very much active.
And Kilauea. That's the one getting most of the attention lately.
Right now, yes. Kilauea is sort of the park's current hotspot, literally. It's known for these episodic eruptions from Halamaio Crater, sometimes lava fountaining. These episodes can happen pretty often, maybe even weekly sometimes. It's driven by the magma chamber filling up, then releasing pressure, inflation and deflation cycles.
And it's the way these volcanoes erupt, that effusive fluid lava that creates the landscape we see, right?
Absolutely. That low viscosity lava just spreads out, covering huge areas before it cools. That's why you get these vast, gently sloping lava fields, not steep cones like, say, Mount Fuji or Rainier.
Okay, let's talk lava itself. Because walking around the park, you see these dramatically different types of cooled lava, Pauaho and A.
Yes, Pauaho and A. And what's really interesting is that chemically, they're very similar.
Really? They look so different.
It's all about how they flow and cool. Pauaho, think smooth, billowy, sometimes looks like coils of rope. The name might relate to paddling, like swirls in water. It forms when the lava has lower viscosity, flows more slowly, maybe at a lower eruption rate.
Like thick syrup flowing.
Exactly. Now, A, that's the other end of the spectrum. Rough, jagged, clinkery stuff. The name is thought to relate to fire, or maybe the pain if you tried to walk on it, which you definitely shouldn't.
I believe it. It looks sharp.
It is. A forms from lava that's a bit cooler, or moving faster, higher viscosity. The surface gets torn apart by the sheer stress as it moves.
So higher viscosity, faster flow rate equals broken, jagged surface.
You got it. Think Pahoho like warm honey, like a pile of sharp, broken rocks moving slowly. And amazingly, a single lava flow can actually start as Pahoho near the vent, where it's hottest and most fluid, and then transition to A further down as it cools, gets thicker, and moves faster over rougher ground.
Wow. A transformation in progress.
Yeah.
That's a really visual lesson in volcanology. Okay, central to understanding all this activity is the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, HVO, founded way back in 1912.
Yes, by Thomas Jagger. HCO is truly a world leader in studying active volcanoes. Their job is critical. They monitor 6 Hawaiian volcanoes, 247. They have over 100 remote stations constantly sending back data.
What kind of data are they collecting?
Seismic activity, ground deformation, tiny changes in the volcano's shape, gas emissions, especially sulfur dioxide. Monitoring sulfur is vital because that's what creates volcanic smog. That info helps the park make safety decisions, like when to close areas.
Right, for air quality.
Exactly. They even have this historic seismograph vault. It's on the National Register of Historic Places, shows their long legacy.
But the 2018 eruption really changed things for HVO physically, didn't it?
It did, significantly. The eruption and the related earthquakes caused major damage to their facilities near the summit, including the Jagger Museum overlook.
Ah, that iconic viewpoint.
Yeah. So the decision was made primarily for safety to actually deconstruct the Jagger Museum and the nearby HVO buildings. They were too damaged, too close to the unstable caldera edge.
So where are they operating from now? And what's the plan?
They've been operating from temporary locations, but the long-term plan involves a new, dedicated HVO field office within the park for some functions, and a main permanent headquarters facility over in Hilo on the University of Hawaii campus.
So moving the main hub away from the immediate hazard zone. Makes sense.
It's a strategic move. Risk reduction, ensuring they can continue their vital monitoring work safely, regardless of what Kilauea does next. Public education is shifting, too, away from that one spot.
Okay, let's shift from the science to the cultural soul of the park. The mulelo, the legends, especially at Pele.
Yes, Pele. Palahonomea Pele of the Sacred Earth. She's the embodiment of the volcano, the creator and the shaper of this landscape. Her home is said to be Halemau'u Crater, right at the heart of Kilauea.
And she has this dual nature, right? Creation and destruction.
Exactly. She's Pele Ahonua, eater of the land, the destructive force. But she's also the creator, forming new land, expanding the islands. And these stories, these molelo, they're not just myths. They often contain really sophisticated indigenous knowledge.
How so? Can you give an example?
Well, take the story of Pele's battle with Kamapua, the pig god. It explains the name of Halemau'u Crater. But it does so by linking meteorology, torrential rain, with botany, the specific Amau fern, and geology, the volcanic fire. It shows this deep understanding of how the ecosystem elements interact.
That's fascinating. It's like science embedded in narrative.
Precisely. And there's even evidence linking some legends to actual geological events.
Oh, really? Like which one?
There's a molelo about Pele driving out an earlier volcano god named Ailo'o. Some researchers think this story might correlate with a major eruption, the Kulanokualiki eruption, that happened maybe 600 to 1000 AD.
Wow. So the oral tradition could be a record of a real event from centuries ago.
It strongly suggests that. It really underscores the deep reverence Hawaiians have for Pele. She's not just a deity. For many, she's Ohana family, and Omakua, a deified ancestor. You approach her presence with respect, with humility, not fear, but profound reverence.
That reverence connects directly to another fascinating feature, the 1790 footprints in the Cayo Desert. There's been a shift in understanding there too, hasn't there?
Yes, a significant one. For a long time, the story, based on early assumptions by Thomas Jagger actually, was that these were the footprints of warriors led by Chief Kishwa, caught with their families in a deadly eruption.
That was the accepted narrative for decades.
It was. But more recent work, combining archaeology and detailed geological analysis of the ash layers and even forensic analysis of the footprint sizes, well, it paints a different picture.
What did they find?
The evidence now strongly suggests that most of the footprints were actually made by women and children, not warriors.
So not a retreating army, but maybe everyday life interrupted.
That seems more likely. The new interpretation is that these were probably family groups, maybe out gathering resources in the area, who were caught in ashfall from the eruption in 1790. The warriors associated with Kishore might have been in the area, but perhaps were killed later by a separate, more powerful pyroclastic surge, that hot, fast flow of gas and ash.
That completely changes the story. It makes it more poignant somehow.
It does. And it's a powerful reminder that history isn't set in stone. We keep learning, refining the narrative as we look closer at the evidence, both geological and human.
Okay, if you're visiting the park wanting to connect with this geology and history firsthand, what are some key trails?
Oh, definitely the Kilauea Iki Trail. It's about a 4-mile loop, moderate difficulty, takes maybe 2, 3 hours. You hike down through this beautiful rainforest, about 400 feet, and then you walk across the floor of a crater that was a molten lava lake back in 1959.
You can still see steam rising.
Oh, yeah. Steam vents are still active. You're walking on ground that was liquid fire not that long ago, geologically speaking. It's humbling.
What else?
Nahuku, which most people know as the Thurston Lava Tube. Much easier, maybe a 0.4-mile loop. You get to walk inside this 600-foot-long cave that was formed by flowing lava. Basically, the outer crust hardened while molten lava flowed through the inside.
A subterranean lava riverbed. Cool.
Very cool. And it's near Kilauea Iki, so you can often do both and maybe find parking more easily for the tube that way.
Good tip. And for cultural history.
The Puloa Petroglyphs Trail. It's an easy walk, about 1.5 miles round trip out over a Bahuho lava field. It leads to the largest known concentration of petroglyphs, or kipuchaku, in Hawaii. Over 23,000 carvings.
23,000. That's incredible.
It really is. Symbols, human figures, geometric shapes, etched into the lava centuries ago. A very tangible link to the people who lived here long ago.
But maybe hiking isn't for everyone, or they have limited time. What about scenic drives?
Absolutely. Two main ones really showcase the landscape. First, Crater Rim Drive. This gives you access to the main Kilauea Visitor Center and these amazing overlooks into the Kilauea caldera, places like Wahina Kapu, the steam vents area, and Uokahuna Overlook. The road used to go all the way around the caldera, but, eruptions changed that.
Nature reclaiming the road.
Pretty much. Then there's the Chain of Craters Road. This one is spectacular. It's about 19 miles long, and it drops dramatically, like 3,700 feet from the summit area down to the coast.
Wow, quite a descent.
It is. You drive past several pit craters, like Pauahi and Manaulu, sites of past eruptions. The road itself tells a story. You can see where lava flows have crossed it and been rebuilt. It ends down near the ocean, where the road is literally blocked by a more recent lava flow. Near there is the Hale Sea Arch, a beautiful 90-foot arch carved by the waves.
A real journey through volcanic landscapes.
Definitely. Oh, and a quick tip for listeners. Chain of Craters Road is remote. No food, no water, no gas, and cell service is spotty at best. So go prepared.
Good advice. Now, you mentioned earlier the park is undergoing changes, partly due to the 2018 eruption, but also reflecting philosophical shifts. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's quite significant. It's not just about repairs. A key aspect is the decision not to rebuild the Jagger Museum and the adjacent USGS buildings at the Uokahuna Overlook.
So that viewpoint area is changing.
It is. The focus is shifting towards restoring that site, Uokahuna, to a state that's more culturally appropriate. It's a sacred place for Native Hawaiians. So the plan is to remove the damaged structures and have minimal interpretive displays, really letting the incredible view and the spiritual significance of the place speak for themselves.
That sounds like a big shift towards respecting cultural values.
It absolutely is. It directly aligns with concepts like Malama Ona, caring for the land, and Kuleana, responsibility.
So where will visitors get information and see exhibits then?
The main Kilauea Visitor Center is being renovated and expanded to consolidate those services. Exhibits, information, ranger programs will be centered there. So overall, you have demolition of damaged buildings, restoration of a sacred site, consolidation of visitor services, and new, safer facilities for HVO scientists. It's a forward-looking vision.
Let's also talk about the park's biodiversity. Hawaii's isolation means its ecosystems are incredibly unique, right?
Extremely unique. Over 90% of the native plants and land animals in Hawaii are endemic, meaning they evolved here and exist nowhere else on Earth. The park is a crucial sanctuary for them.
What are some examples of this unique flora and fauna?
Well, for plants, you see pioneer species like ferns and lichens starting life on new lava flows. Then there's the Shiolahora tree, vital for the ecosystem, provides food for birds. And the Exio berry bush, food for the nunu goose, and also sacred to Pele. For animals, the bird life is amazing. The Hawaiian honeycreepers are a classic example of adaptive radiation, one ancestor evolving into many species with different specialized beaks. Of course, there's the nono, the Hawaiian goose, the state bird, and endangered species like the o'o, the Hawaiian petrel, nesting high on Mauna Loa, and the Hawaiian hoary bat, the only native land mammal.
But these unique species face serious threats, I imagine.
They do, unfortunately. The biggest threat is invasive alien species, plants, animals, diseases.
Like what?
A really problematic one is the coqui frog, accidentally introduced from Puerto Rico. They're tiny, but they breed rapidly and are incredibly loud. They compete with native birds for insect food, they eat native invertebrates, and they even become food for other invasive predators like rats and mongooses, which then boosts those populations. It really messes up the food web.
Wow, one small frog causing so much disruption.
It's a huge challenge. And you have other threats, too. Introduced predators, cats, rats, mongooses are devastating for ground-nesting birds like the nona and oo. Avian malaria, spread by invasive mosquitoes, has wiped out honey creepers in lower elevations. Habitat loss is also a factor.
It sounds like managing the park is a constant battle on multiple fronts. How do they approach conservation?
It's incredibly complex. They're updating their general management plan now to tackle big issues like climate change impacts, future volcanic activity affecting infrastructure, and, of course, resource protection. They've had some successes with invasive species control fencing areas to keep out feral pigs and goats, which damage native plants, and removal programs.
But challenges remain.
Oh, definitely. Invasive grasses are a huge problem. They outcompete native plants and fuel wildfires, which are becoming more frequent and intense. It's a constant balancing act.
And balancing human use with conservation.
Yeah.
You mentioned helicopter tours earlier. That must be true.
That's a perfect example. Helicopter tours bring in revenue for the park through fees, and they offer visitors a unique perspective. But the noise pollution is significant. It impacts the visitor experience on the ground, disturbs wildlife, and detracts from the sense of peace and wildness, especially in wilderness areas.
A classic park management dilemma.
Exactly, and it involves multiple agencies, not just the Park Service. The new general management plan is trying to address these complex use issues proactively, looking ahead 15, 20 years, to find that sustainable balance.
So wrapping things up, Hawai'i Volcanoes National Park is really this extraordinary intersection, isn't it? Land, story, science, all interwoven.
It truly is. We've touched on its unique geological origins, its living cultural history constantly being re-examined, its incredibly precious and fragile ecosystem, and the forward-thinking, culturally sensitive management approach being taken now.
It really feels like a place where ancient reverence and modern science inform and enrich each other.
Couldn't have said it better.
So here's a thought to leave you with. This park embodies a continuous cycle of destruction and creation, this constant dance between geology and culture. What can that teach us about our own relationship with the landscapes around us, wherever we live? And how might we apply the lessons of Malama Aina, that deep sense of caring for the land in our own communities? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.